Closing remarks on this third day of the conference, where I would like to point out to some gaps that we had to face during this conference. At the start, this conference was enriched with a number of urban studies that can be limited into some themes that were addressed by some of the interventions. Most important, historical studies about the transformations in Haifa, Jaffa, Ramallah, and different cities, especially to the fate of these cities during and in post and Nakba period. Number two, ethnographic morphologic contemporary studies that addressed the crisis of urban centers currently. Most importantly, about the study about Jerusalem, Hebron, and Haifa. Then other sectional studies that address the urban situation in terms of planning, immigration, and the relation of the rural side with the city from different urban perspectives. Overlapping studies such as the study contributed by Mr. Rasim Khamaisi and Khaldoun Bishara. And finally, addressing the cultural innovation from urban perspective, from music, arts, and cinema. Having a number of pioneer researchers have enriched us coming from different areas of Palestine, including the Galil, the Al-Muthallath, and the Negev. And we were lucky with a historical contribution by Mr. Khalid Ziyadi, the professor of history at the Lebanese University and the historian of Tripoli, and about the social history of Hebron by the Lebanese engineer syndicate head, Mr. Thabit. And I'd like to point out that this study was a main component in contributing to listing Hebron on the historical list of UNESCO. Now, what are the critical points or the missing, if Mr. Ala allows me? First, there is an absence to addressing certain studies. I'm sure you noticed that. And I would like to stress that when we started attracting or soliciting for contributions, we announced that we were soliciting for studies around these cities, but we did not succeed. Most importantly, a study about Jaffa, Nablus, and especially Gaza. There are other cities, but in particular, we wanted to see studies around these cities, but we failed to do so. Also, there is an absence to addressing the oldest city in the world, which is Jericho. We really hoped that Lana, she should have, along with Iyad, should have done that, but they didn't. Hopefully next year we can see you on that. Also, there was a lot of theoretical studies, but scarcity in the practical aspects. So this can be compensated in the studies to be published, especially by the academic researchers in following these urban studies. Also, there was absence in addressing the critical studies, especially maybe out of fear of reactions, but considering the previous conferences, there was absence to the critical studies. Also, there was absence to any future vision for the Palestinian city and its relation with the political congestion or that we heard. I wrote this before listening to Natasha Aruri, which covered this part of the future perspective or overview and really enriched us in the last session. We are used to have recommendations, and I personally do believe that having recommendations for any conference usually end in the trash. But Mr. Rami is determined to address this issue if we have time, to give him a minute to speak about this. Finally, before I give the floor to my colleague Ala, we will prepare for publishing the gist of these interventions in a book that hopefully will be published in the coming 6 months. And I thank you for your attendance. Thank you. Thank you, Salim. As from where I'll pick from where you started, I would like to point out that the institution and the conference committee received 80 research proposals. After reviewing them, we received 45 research papers. After the amendments, they turned into 39 papers. And then we ended with 23 contributions. So this was a great effort by the committee and external reviewers. And I will start thanking. I will write from my mobile phone, if you don't mind. The IPS thanks all the speakers and contributors and the heads of the sessions who enriched the discussion, and especially those who traveled all the way to join us on this conference. And great thanks for the external reviewers and to the conference committee and our colleagues and those who supported us from the outside. And special thanks to Birzeit University and its staff and the Faculty of Arts. And we thank the conference coordinator, Rana Anani. And in the conference committee, Mr. Salim Tamari, I'm going by alphabet, and Ala Jaradat, and Karol Khouri, and Munir Fakhruddin, and Khalid Faraj, who has the idea of having the conference. And we are sorry that he is not among us in these days, but he was with us, virtually with us, in spite of the time difference. And we thank the colleagues, the friends of the institution, who advised us in preparing for the conference. Mr. Nadmi Al-Ju'bi, Lana Judi, Ammar Dweik, Rina Jkirat, Noor Arafi, Ghada Al-Madbouh, Yara Hawari, and Mahmoud Yazbak. And great thanks for the staff of Birzeit University, Mr. Nabil Jalal, Mu'taz Sabani, Bashir Abdel Razak, Fatmi Abdel Aziz, Muhammad Abdel Hadi, and Amal Awiz. And also we thank Mr. Majdi Hadid and the Watan TV staff, Mr. Ahmed Bikawi, Amir Hamayel, Ala Zaid, and Wafa Aruri, and Ashraf Kutkot, and Mahmoud Nakhli, and Mr. Nizar Habash. We thank the translation or the interpreters, Aisha Ahmad, Arsina Gazrian, Mir Shhadi, and Maher Awadi. And we cannot forget thanking the students of Birzeit University who volunteered to assist us. The master's students who registered and took the comments interventions, Taqwa Hannoun, Mathanna Khamis, and Basir Rizqallah, and Ishraq Awashri. We repeat our thanks for our donors, for our institution and our research, Bank of Palestine, Henry Shbull, and the Paltal, and the Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development, and the Palestinian Investment Fund. And finally, great thanks for the staff of the institution and the Sandi Abu Rahmi, Hussam Abu Lail, Abir Al-Haj Ali, Ala Hassouni, Muhammad Al-Khaldi, مرام خواجة, سمير الديك, محمد رزق, لانا رنتيسي, مرشود زايد, ندية سلاودة, روان سمامري, مي طبيلي, مهند عبد الحميد, زين عرقات, فؤاد عقليك, and Irene Masoud. Thank you.